down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Oh, friends and family, you thought I was on vacation? Well, I was, but I'm back. Oh, legit. I can't wait to drop this episode. This gentleman has been a long-term friend. I met Mr. J.R. Webster at church, which is a great place to mingle and raise private money. No, I'm just joking. But it is a good place to meet successful people because I think that the more you learn and the more you grow, you become successful and you can learn a lot on spiritual principles. So little caveat there, go to church, mother effers. But let's get into Mr. Webster. First of all, why do I have this guy on the episode of the Savvy Radio Show? He's never bought a deal before, and he's been asking me, I would say 3 to 5 years, I want to be an investor, and he asks me questions all the time. I'm like, dude, I never said this, but in my heart, I'm like, mother, why don't you pull the trigger? And so JR, he's come to landlord lunches, he's come to classes. I'm like, dude, why do you keep calling me? Stop calling me. Go buy a deal. But we've been chatting a lot lately, and I love his personality. I love his passion to educate people. His day job for 8 years has been educating kids on financial literacy in high schools. So, which is one of my dreams, is to release a book that will teach people how to make money. So my goal, if you don't know me by now, if this is your first episode, make money to give it away and bless people. So, JR, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, man.
All right, man. So this is crazy. So I usually have people that are in real estate, want to be in real estate, which is why you're here today. So tell us a little bit about why financial literacy. You have an MBA. I have no degree. So this is going to be a battle royale of who's going to be rich and who's not. No, I'm just playing. Have you read Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So are you the rich dad?
Yeah. I would consider myself, yeah.
Okay. So you're 35 years old. How did you get to today? And you work for a credit union. I got to put that caveat. So he's a kind of a pseudo banker of sorts, but you're not in the day-to-day operations of banking. And tell us what you do. What's your job, basically?
So I started out at the credit union in a collections role. So I was collecting against delinquent loans. From that, I did a lot of counseling in that job. And so this job to do some counseling and teaching kind of came along, and I took advantage of it, got the job. And so for 8 years now, I've been writing curriculum and traveling around talking at high schools, colleges, businesses about how to be smart with your money.
So when you said you were counseling, was it difficult to see people over there in dire straits, like I'm broke, or like when you mean counseling, like where were they at? Are you helping them to increase their financial net worth? Are they're coming to you in a desperate situation?
Most of the people that I saw were pretty desperate. They were people that I was already in they were already in collections. They were already delinquent, and I was trying to get them back Current. To where they're
right.
on their feet again.
So you saw the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
So obviously you're motivated to make money.
Oh yeah.
Because you don't want to be there.
I hate that idea.
I mean, it's so true. Okay, so all right. So give me a typical thing. So you go to a school, and how do you get into schools in the first place?
At first, it was a little bit tough. Actually convincing people to let me come in and
teach them about money.
Yeah, say, hey, give me an hour of your student's time, or during a semester, let me come 3 or 4 times, an hour each time, and talk to them about money. And they were like, I don't know. There was a law passed in Oklahoma that requires that students learn about financial education, and so that opened up some doors there.
Amen.
And from there, just writing curriculum, really, really fun curriculum that's very interactive, that students get the opportunity to kind of hands-on learn what it's like to live a day-to-day life.
What's the response? Like, we got an assembly, we got this young kind of cool guy up there talking about budgets, and what are the kids like? I mean, obviously there's got to be a matrix of some are excited, some are not. Do they throw rocks at you? I mean, are they inquisitive? What is it like? How do you convince a high school kid to budget?
Yeah, that's a tough one. A lot of times I come in completely blind to the student, so the teacher tells them, hey, we got a guy from a credit union coming in. They're probably expecting some dude in like a suit and tie with gray hair and all this stuff, and then I walk in, so immediately kind of catch them off guard a little bit. And then from there, like loud music playing, all this stuff is going. And then from that point on, it just high speed, having them make financial decisions right from the start. One of the examples, we actually give them $1 when they come into the class, and then we teach them about gambling in the gambling industry in Oklahoma. And we say, all right, you have the choice. Do you want to gamble that $1 for a chance to win more or not? And so stuff like that keeps it really interactive, keeps it really fun, but at the same time, teaches a really valuable lesson.
So what's the goal here? Like, what are you trying to do? Like, I mean, you're getting paid from a credit union to go out. Obviously, is this like a marketing thing for them?
Yeah, it's part of our marketing department. So it is a marketing thing. It is an awareness campaign. Basically, about 8 years ago, the credit union said, "Hey, we've got some money. We could either just give this money back to our members, or we could start a financial education program with it and go out into the community and provide a free service to schools and to businesses to just help their employees or students or whatever just be a little bit smarter with their money."
Cool. All right. So how are you here today? So you obviously you have an educational background, so you understand how financial return on investment works and investments yourself. And so you're 35 years old. You have an MBA. What is an MBA?
A Master of Business Association.
Why in the world did you go get an MBA?
Do I really have to talk about that? No. Okay.
I mean, why?
Yeah.
What? Like, you think you're going to get paid more money? I mean, be honest.
Being more, slightly more marketable is the reason that a lot of people do it. Honestly, the reason that I did it is because I was up for a promotion at work, and for a job that wasn't a master's degree required job, but the competitor, the guy that I was going up against, had an MBA, and they said, well, this is something that he has up on you, so he gets the job and you don't. And I was like, well, then shoot, I'll go get mine. And that's why I initially did it.
Society. Well, most people, I thought, that go get their MBA so they can make more money. You go get an MBA just for out of pride, slap some dude in the face.
Not quite.
But I mean, all right. So you like to travel, you like to have fun. Does your job provide that? I mean, why are you even interested in real estate? And why don't you invest in stocks, or do you invest in stocks now, or how do you make money outside of your slave labor?
Well, that's part of the reason that I'm wanting to do real estate investment is right now my income really is mostly tied to my time.
Sure.
So I go and do my thing. I have a lot of freedom in my job to be able to kind of make my own schedule, do the things that I want. Travel quite a bit around the state and some outside of the state. I'll be in a couple months. I'll be in LA and doing different things like that. But I want my time to be completely divorced from my money. I don't want my earning potential to be based on how much time I spend at a job. And so the idea of real estate investment really having something that can provide an ongoing return for me throughout the rest of my life is super attractive.
But you've built your whole life on education and getting an MBA. Obviously, again, you said more marketable for another job of sorts. Now, okay. Now, I know I have to beat you up a little bit.
No, I know.
Number two, okay. All right, we're back in action from the little break there. All right, so you got this MBA, which is, I think, an amazing feat. And I'm not just desensitizing it, but an MBA is an amazing thing. Definitely it's marketable, and I agree. I think you should have some skills just in case things don't go down the way you want it to go down. But I do remember what I was going to ask you. If in corporate America, people with MBAs, all of a sudden budgets are cut and your whole job is gone. Especially you have this weird little niche inside your nonprofit credit union. What if they decide one day it's better to spend more money on pens?
Oh yeah, that's something that I always think about. I'm definitely expendable at my job, and that's something I don't want to be in a position where I have to rely on somebody else's decisions and behavior to determine if I'm going to be able to support my family.
And that's what scares me in corporate America, MBA or no MBA. Hey, we're not making money off of this. You going around speaking about our credit union, we're going to cut that out and start, infrastructure on fees.
Yeah.
Because that's how banks think. They make money off of fees, junk fees. All right. So MBA, educated guy, you invest a little bit right now. You've been investing in your IRA that's your only vehicle that you've been
7
investing
years.
in.
I've got a little retirement account that I just kind of play around, or not retirement, investment account that I kind of play around with. It's just
And like, what kind of
much.
returns are you getting?
Right now, overall returns probably on average right even. I mean, I'm not getting it. The market's
doing nothing
suck right now.
So it would be beneficially for you to put it in a CD because sure you can get fascinating. So you're a guy that comes from the banking world, educated, and you have the typical what everyone tells you: go to school, get a good job. You're doing that. You got a job. Go get more degrees so you can get paid more money, and it's not going where you want to go.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then what turned you on to real estate? And then how did you even hear about real estate in general? Or why real estate, and why not starting a business or another vehicle that will bring income into your life?
I've got this friend, his name's Stephen Van Kallenberg. And
I have a few houses.
Yeah. No, we were talking. I remember specifically a conversation. Your old house, you were having a storm shelter put in that day. I came over to the house. We're just sitting there talking, and you're like, dude, one, you need to have some income that isn't just relying on your job. You need to have multiple sources of income. You need to write a book, and you need to get some real estate property. And I'm like, I sounds good. How do I do it? Right. And we've been talking since then. A lot of the reason
that was like 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, it's been a while. And part of the reason I haven't, my wife, I was actually talking to her about this last night. She's like, just tell Steven, blame it on me. She was like, because I'm really nervous about it. I don't know what to do. I'm like, just trust me that I've looked into it. I know.
But okay, so that's a typical answer. People are I'd be fearful of 401. I'd be fearful. Your whole life is invested in your job.
Oh,
you went to school. You even get an MBA because you wanted to one up somebody. I understand. I get it. I'm a male. But you're saying that not buying a house is more, I think is more riskful than not at all.
Oh, I would agree. Because
like you got this IRA that's not doing nothing, right? I mean, and guess who's doing something? Whoever's managing, wherever your custodial is getting a management fee.
Oh, absolutely.
And some of them are, if you make money, yes or no, they make money. That's what they're created for. And I don't want to get onto the freaking mutual fund and IRA BS. I think you need to take control of your financial destiny. And and that's what you teach all day. That's the only reason why I have you here today is because I just want to just murder you. Because like you have all the skills, you have the resources, you have the mechanics of understanding a bank. Why haven't you gotten a loan? Why haven't you pulled the trigger? I know you're a very analytical guy because most people come from analysis paralysis, banking industry. I talk to banks all the time. They see that I have all these houses. They see how much money. They see my taxes. They see my financial statement. And they're like, I always ask them, why don't you do it? Yeah. So answer that question, banker.
Part of it is you're
Fear?
Exactly right. Analysis paralysis. I've been looking so much for so long at all these different things. What are potential things? Creative financing. Looking at all these different options for me, trying to decide what the best thing, and I haven't. Basically, there's so many choices that I haven't decided what to do.
Here's the best thing. Make money.
Yeah.
I mean, go buy a rent house for $50,000, $35,000, and put 20% down. That's what you jokers do in your little world, because I put no money down. But that's another day. But you put 20% down. That's $7,000, and you rent it out for $600. So do the math. Let's just say.
Oh yeah.
So that means you got a $30,000 or $28,000 loan. Your payment, you should do a 15-year loan, would be $200. And you're renting it out for $600, taxes, insurance. I mean, let's just say you're just fumbling through this process. Your whole all-in cost is probably $300 a month, and you're renting it out for $600. $300 a month times 10, I bet you is more than you net. No, I don't want to tell you how much. I don't want to know what you make. But like, think about it logically. If I just have 10 rental properties that were yielding $300 a month, that's $3,000 a month, cash flow positive. And if I took all my equity back out, and I get this thing at the end of the year called depreciation, and I get to do repairs and the closing fees are deducted, my interest is deducted. It's the only vehicle that I know that makes more millionaires. That was a question I had on the phone for you. Your investment vehicle is stocks. How many millionaires do you know are day traders?
Oh, they come and go every day.
Yeah, they're cool for penny stocks for 2 minutes, and then they're made 30,000, and then they lose it all tomorrow, the next day. Well, I don't want to beat you up anymore, but I'm excited that you're on the radio show, and so JR, what are you gonna do? What's your plan? Like, what's your questions? How and why aren't you doing it? And when are you going to do it? Because now we're going to air this thing. It's going to be accountable. It's going to be on Facebook. And you were one guy just to spend $20,000 to go get your MBA. And how many hours at night? How many papers did you write just to be cool for a potential job that you may or may not get? Because they're scandalous like that. When are you going to do real estate?
I want to have my first property by the end of the summer.
That's the summer. That's kind of ambitious.
Yeah,
bro. That's only like 6 weeks.
It's like, yeah, it's
7 weeks.
We're looking, yeah. It's first day of summer was actually like 2 days ago. So I got 3 months. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I do it on the calendar.
Yeah, it's really hot in Oklahoma. So.
With my child, like they go back to school August something, 7 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So that's the summer for me. All right. So let's help you right here on the radio show, because there's somebody out there that's just like you that is on the fence, and they finally said, I'm done. I work a full-time job. I work all the time, 50 hours a week. I make a decent income. I go nowhere. What's the first thing you need to do? What's the first thing? How are you going to buy a house?
Well, the area that I want to invest in is something to decide. That's something that at the Great Investor Weekend.
Yes.
That I went to.
Yeah, plug me up all day.
Was incredible, and that was one of the things that got mentioned was decide an area and stick kind of in that area, so that you're not like trying to figure out all these places. When you're starting out, learn an area, get familiar with an area, and buy within that area.
Okay, so have you picked out an area?
Yes.
Okay, tell us the area.
I would love to invest south of 240,
Good.
So South Side Moore, Norman, kind of in that range from like Airport to Will Rogers to Sooner Road, maybe a little bit further east of that.
Great. So where your job, is it in that near that area? Can you drive through there every day?
I live there.
Well, I know you live over there, but can you? So in and out. So each day, I recommend going through a different route. Look for vacant houses, also known as driving for dollars.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see a lot of bandit signs around?
Yeah, I see a few.
Okay, write their phone numbers down and call them. Say, hey, I'm a real estate investor. Don't tell them that you're a rookie. Just say I'm a real estate investor and I buy in this area. What you just said, from pen to blank to blank. All right. So have you started looking at houses in those areas?
I've started walking around every night. I've been taking walks through the area, looking what things might look a little bit vacant.
Have you looked on the county assessor? Have you analyzed any deals yet?
I have looked on the county assessor, trying to find some foreclosures, looking up U.S. banks, see if they hold anything, looking up, different, Chase, stuff like that, looking to see, what places are in foreclosure but not yet sold. Okay.
Is there an ideal house that you're looking for right now? Like, what would be it? I mean, I know your analysis paralysis because the deal could be in your lap and you wouldn't know. Let's try to get focused here. What is the house that you're looking for? Is there a specific return, cash flow, location, size, quality, construction?
I've got to witness some of the headaches that you go through in the war zone, and that's not where I want to be.
True.
So below $100,000, retail.
You got to get more specific. No, that's not retail. What do you want to spend on the house, and what do you want to yield on it?
Oh, okay.
Because I'm gonna break your analysis paralysis. So we're gonna do it right here, live and direct.
Yeah, I would love for you have the 70% rule or whatever that I hear all the time.
So we already know that. So you want
$70,000 right now. Cash, I've got about $25,000 I could put on a house.
Well, the goal here as a real estate investor is not to use that cash at all.
Okay, is
to leverage that cash. You may not need that cash. There's certain banks that will loan 70% of the ARV of the appraised value. So, but let's just for you as a rookie, I would definitely recommend maybe a $60,000, a $50,000 house. Maybe 70% of a $60,000 house is roughly $42,000. If you went to your credit union, most idiot banks they require 20% down on the lowest contract price. Have you heard that yet?
Yeah.
Okay, which is just ludicrous to be to discipline you for being savvy and negotiating a contract down 70%. But there is institutions and banks out there and private money. But let's just say you're looking at spending around $42,000 is a safe number.
Yeah.
And what do you think, because you need to know this instantaneously, what do you think a $70,000 house, $42,000 that you have in it, what do you think it yields? What's the gross rent?
Probably about $800 to $900.
Excellent. So there you go. So that's now it's like, when you buy a new car, everyone else has a Honda, everyone else has a red car. That's the one problem I think a lot of people do is they're not seeing that one number. They're looking at $100,000 houses, which is you can negotiate those down. Another thing you need to do, you need to probably partner with a real estate agent. Do you have one of those?
Dutch has been sending me some texts, some emails.
He's a wonderful real estate agent. Okay. And you might want to get someone that, I'm not trying to sell out my boy Dutch, but you might want to get someone that specializes on the South Side.
Yeah.
I mean, Dutch lives in Edmond. He buys all over the place. He's a great real estate investor. I'm not saying that he couldn't. I definitely would have Dutch on my team to negotiate the deal for me or to handle the transaction. Absolutely. But he is very busy. You might want to find another real estate agent in that area.
Yeah.
But if you get a lead from Dutch in your email, you definitely need to call him because he did provide that information for you. All right. So right now, here we go. You have your laser focus on, I want to try to buy for sure anything at 70 to 75%. I have $25,000 cash, but I'm not going to spend it because I might use it for repairs or acquisition. Okay. And then we're going to buy in this zone and we're going to buy in this area. So, I mean, the hard part is done. Now you just got to start putting in offers. How many offers do you think you need to make? Well, first of all, let's just see if you know this. How hot do you think the market is, or, how do you think it's competitive out there?
Oh, yeah, it is right now.
It's on fire.
It's on fire right now. Yeah.
Okay. So you got to be mindful of that. So since it's so hot and horny out there, how many offers do you think you need to make to maybe potentially
to land one deal?
Yeah. Just see if you know this statistic. Just for fun.
50.
If you make 10 solid offers, I think you can get some traction.
Really?
Yeah, that's just my rule of thumb. This is how I roll. So I know that if I put out 10 legitimate offers a week is what I try to do, and when I'm in a buying mode, I know that it will probably yield me at least one serious contract. Just so you know. So you got to get that in mind. So another rule of thumb that I take for especially someone that's just starting out is that you have to look at 100 houses. Now, you may not have to look at them specifically, let's say physically, one-on-one, but you definitely need to look at 10 deals, analyze 10 deals. Is this going to cash flow? What's my cash flow? What's my taxes? What's my insurance? And then I would say after 100, and I would probably look in at least 20. I mean, it's going to take hours. So you figure you're going to have to at least have 40 hours in it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you as a anal detailed person of banking world. So how many hours? 40 hours, 20 hours of scoping out 80 houses and 20 hours of actually physically going to those houses and doing it. And then you'll be a rock star real estate investor. You ever heard the book called Talent's Not Enough?
No.
Okay, it's a book. Basically, it says that if you do anything, 10,000 hours of anything, you'll be a master of it.
Oh, so yeah, I've read Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Same.
Yeah. So that's the same concept in real estate. Another superstar real estate investor that I admire that has helped me through the years. He told me once we were teaching a class together, and he's like, the difference between us and just regular average people is that we've looked at thousands of houses, and that's just you can give me an address like 50th and May on Southwest 50. I have a property under contract over there. I know exactly what it's worth,
yeah.
And I don't even buy on the South Side. I just know, and actually I got trumped. I just lost that deal. I had it under contract, and then someone outbidded me. So. This is life happens. All right. Do you have any questions at all? So you got the basics down. Now you just need to sign a contract. Are you, what's your wife like? Is she cool with you buying real estate? I mean, I know she said, trying to be a pansy here, but. No,
she's fine with it. She likes the idea. We were having a conversation the other day where she's like, I think this will put us in a really good position, but she's really nervous to take that first step. I think once we start doing it, she'll see the benefit and be like, okay, yeah, let's keep doing this. But that first step is what's tough for her, getting over that.
Okay, do you have any concerns, fears? I've known you for 5 years. I've encouraged you to do it 5 years ago. Now, 5 years later, you're going to do it. What fears or thoughts have come through your mind throughout those years? Does life, work get in your way? What's gotten in your way before?
I always think about my family, making sure, like, okay, am I going to put our assets in danger, our livelihood in danger by doing this? I hear horror stories all the time from people who are like, oh yeah, I have a friend of mine in Denver who's like, yeah, I lost, $50 grand on a deal one time. And I'm just like, I couldn't weather that storm, And
well, you probably have a few diarrhea moments,
yeah.
But what's the worst thing? I mean, I understand that $50,000 is a lot of money, and I've lost thousands of dollars before. But I mean, I think, and if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're going to lose ever $50,000 if you have the right advisors around you, and there's so many willing people in your local real estate club that would help you. And you're about to put it under contract. Just send it. I mean, I'll look at it. I was like, hey, that's a deal.
Yeah.
And then you'll learn. But the most important thing, I think, people that are out there, you just need to go do it. I mean, you just need to sign a contract.
Yeah.
Now, you live in your home. You own your own home now.
I do.
Was it nervous when you bought your own home the first time?
A little bit. Your first experience. Yeah.
Yeah, it just gets easier like anything else. All right. What other questions? Do you have any other questions right now?
Find a property first, or nail down financing first?
Good question. Well, I always find the deal, money will come. I think the hardest part in real estate investing is finding the deal. Even though people say there's deals everywhere, and there are, people ask me that. I have so many deals, I can't even keep up with them. But I think money will follow. For example, you get a good deal on, you looked at the 100 houses. You know this is a mother effing great deal, but you can't close it. Well, there's a way to make money. You can assign the contract to someone else. You could sell that contract, and then you take that $3,000, $5,000, whatever you profited on that, and use that in conjunction with your initial seed money. I believe that money will be there. I've never thought that I can't do the deal. I bought an apartment building without a pot to piss in. I couldn't twice. I've done it. And money came in. Now, yes, bankers said no. Yes. Have I asked for hard money and they've punked me? Yes. But am I still here? Do I have X amount of houses later? Yes. So I think the most important thing to focus on is getting the deal. The money will follow. And I mean, I don't know how else to say that. And I know it just sounds so easy. Money will follow. What do you mean? Like, there is a few banks. You should start working on your portfolio, meaning your financial statement. I mean, obviously your annual detailed, so you probably have all your taxes organized, all that stuff. Get the ball rolling now, so you are positioned. But a lot of people, they think they have to go get the money organized. Go get my favorite is, should I go get an LLC tomorrow? No. You don't need to spend that extra expense right today, and you can do that LLC while you're going through closing.
Yeah.
I mean, your first transaction is probably not going to be a cash transaction, which is you're not going to close in 5 to 7 days. So you're probably going to have to court a bank, which is going to take a week, and then you're going to have to go. They're going to go through underwriting, which all this jazz. It's going to take a couple of weeks, because usually they meet, the board effing meets some third Thursday of some month, and there's some delays in there, and sometimes they can push it forward. So you have time to get all that stuff organized. But yeah, you should start on it. But I think your number one goal is to know, because you're missing out on deals.
Yeah.
They're just flying past you and you're not seeing them. And a lot of people, I meant to say, is that they try to go get their financing, and then there's so many hula hoops, they're not motivated, so they just lose interest altogether. I think when you have a hot and horny property, and it's a $100,000 property, and this is back when I first started. I remember someone called me on a deal. The folks were retiring. They were, needed to move into the retirement home. They're selling this house for $50,000. Believe me, I got the financing. Now, I didn't know what, but I got that house on a contract, and it appraised for $100,000, and I was like, I only needed 60. I should ask for 70. But the bank, their risk level was only at 60%.
Yeah.
So if the deal's hot, but if you're sitting there jerking around trying to find, a bank that's going to talk to you, you're missing out. So, because there's people that will loan money out of their IRA. For me, for example, I would be willing to do that. I don't have a big IRA. I just have a small, tiny IRA, but I like to loan money out of it. So if you find a $50,000 deal, and you could do short-term loans, there's hard money loans. So money is everywhere. It's infinite, and it's always fluid. And I mean, if you really study money, and I'm assuming you've read some of those books, because the books that I've read, like money sitting and stagnant is like detrimental. Of course, is a thing called inflation. Yeah. So, I have no problem doing transactional funding until you get your, you might pay $1,000. Like, I borrowed $30,000 for 3 months, and it cost me $2,500. Now, some of you financial wizards like yourself will be like, oh my God, the return on that 3 months, 20. Yeah. Hey man, I have an asset that I get $900 a month out of. Yeah. So $2,500, I think I cash flow about $400 a month off that property. So let's do the math. $2,500 that I threw away divided by 400. What is it? 6 months? So 6 months. Yeah. So six. After 6 months, I have an infinite return because that money didn't cost me anything. Someone else showed up with the and it cost me an extra $2,400 to acquire that.
That was probably the biggest thing, I think, for me. The hurdle that my mind had to get around is like, okay, yeah, you may be paying a little bit higher interest rate, but you're not actually paying that interest rate. Somebody else is paying it for you. The renter is paying that for you. You're getting that
tax return. Yeah. And I think that's a good thing. I used to get hung up on interest rates. Man, this bank, and when you get to multi-million dollars, I can see where it makes a difference. 1 point can yield $10,000 a year. 2 points is $20,000. I get it on $1 million. But if you acquire that asset, so I mean, this is something I'm working on right now. But this new bank that I'm working with, they cut me off at I can only cash out at a certain number. So they approved me for this large number, but they're like, you can only pull out this much money of cash. Okay. So, but this other bank, I can use this bank for acquisition, close it with no money down deal. So it'd be about $1,000 to close that deal. I'll hold on to it for a couple months, seasoning period. I'll call this other bank and I'll refinance it, which I have to pull another appraisal. So another $700, $800 because there'll be a small title fee. So $1,700 total on a no money down deal. I mean, think about the return as you as a financial planner. I mean, you buy this house, like this is a typical deal that I do. You buy a $70,000 house for $50,000. So this is stuff that I buy. $75,000 house times 0.7%, $52,000. I get it down to $50,000. I have no money down. The bank will fund the deal, and then I refinance it, put it on permanent, and okay, my payment, taxes, insurance is $600. I'm making $300. I rent it out for $900. I'm making $300 a month, and I have no money in the effing deal. Yeah. So, like, yeah, you in the beginning, yeah, it's great. You got $25,000. That's huge, right? I started with zero money, and I got to this level. As soon as you buy that property, use that 20% at that dumpy dump bank. Wait, let it appreciate and pull that equity back out, and then get a portfolio, get 4 or 5 houses, get 10 houses, and then go to another bank that just loans on portfolio money, commercial money. It's all based on appraisals and after ARV. I mean, your life will be changed forever. You'll never have to go back to work again.
Yeah, I remember we had a conversation a while back ago. I was thinking I was doing awesome, and in my world, like, okay, so you're in the markets and you get what I was bragging about the other day. We were talking. Well, it's been a while ago. I'm getting like 15%. And you're like, dude, 15%. You're like, I get 25, 30% without like breaking a sweat. And that type of thing for me is just. I mean, that is sexy.
Yeah, and the cool thing to get those 30% is not even your money. Yeah, like you can't go borrow money and go buy a stock. Hey, I think GM, there's a brand new GE center downtown on I-35, 235. I own an apartment building right around the corner, which is even cooler for me. But I see GE. I mean, most people, they see GE. Let me go run out and buy a new GE stock because they're growing in Oklahoma City. And can I go to the bank? Hey, Mr. John Day, banker, can I borrow $30,000 to buy 15 shares of GE? He's going to laugh at me. Yeah. But I can go buy $100,000 asset with no money down if you're savvy enough, but you could with 10% down, 20% down. I mean, you can get $80,000 worth of structure for $20,000 cash. I mean, you just keep duplicating, and then, well, if you buy right in the right neighborhood, it appreciates. Pull all the equity out, and anyway, man, I'm just excited that you're going to do it. And you said by the end of the summer, then that means we need to stop this episode because you need to get out there and get cracking.
Let's do it.
All right, man. JR, what advice would you give? I mean, you're a successful, educated, wonderful father, marriage, go to live life. What advice would you give someone else out there? What's on your heart? I know that you love education. You're encouraging high school kids to just think about financing and not run out to the mall and spend $60 on a video game, because you can get it on Amazon for $50, but save $10 and then take that $10 and make it into $20. That's how I would teach my children. That's which I do. But what would you advise? I mean, you're giving kids advice all day. What advice would you give real estate investors, people, ladies, gentlemen, anyone out there? What would you tell them?
Probably the biggest thing that I see among people when I'm out there, teaching classes, is people they just don't prioritize. They don't have a why behind what they do. It's every day doing the grind, doing their thing without any priority of, okay, what do I want to accomplish with this? What do I want to do? And so the very first thing I tell people is get a priority, whatever that like big goal is, get a priority around it and start to shape your goals around the priorities that you have. Because if you don't have a priority, then things like I want to save a certain amount of money or I want to pay off a certain amount of debt, why do you want to do that? If it's like for me, when Melissa wanted to stay at home full time with the kids, that was the priority, right? That's
let's make it work.
Yeah, let's make this happen. That was the why we did did the things that we did when we were like, okay, well, let's get in a better position. Let's do this. Let's do that. That drove us. And so having those priorities.
What's it like though? I'm like, I know I was young. I partied. I did all these things. Like, I wonder, like, people don't really think about what if they lose my job? They have no savings. They have no vision. They have no assets. How do you get that through them? Like, there's a future, or I guess they just have to suffer and have pain. I mean, have these conversations with kids?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, are they aware?
A lot of times that's what it takes. I've seen all kinds of situations. Some people, they're just self-motivated. Other people, it takes hitting rock bottom before they're going to do jack squat about anything. I've counseled people who were $900 a month in deficit in their budget, like on a crash course towards bankruptcy, and she still wanted to go get her hair, done, spend like $500 a month on her hair and nails. And he wanted to drive his big dually pickup, driving round trip to work and back, spending, $500 a month in gas.
Wow.
They didn't want to change what they were doing because people don't like changing their lifestyle.
Yes. I like that. They have to accept the fact. Okay, so in the thing that you said earlier off air, you said the whole Dave Ramsey thing. You get debt-free, but you can't really get free. I'm all about debt-free and within a certain degree. I mean, I think consumer debt, yeah, like the flat screen, that dually. Can you get it done with an F-150?
Oh, he had another car. That was the thing. He had another car that got great gas mileage, but he didn't want to drive it, and he didn't need his truck for work. He just didn't want to drive another car.
So some people think it. So you're telling me that is it self-sacrificing? Because I mean, you're. I don't think so. Like I mean, I just think it's like here's a perfect example. When Hummers were hot, right? You were rich if you drove a Hummer. Every time I see a Hummer and it's $60,000 in my mind, that is a rent house. They're paying $800 a month.
Oh yeah,
which is just crazy on a 7-year loan. 7 years. Just run the math. I mean, you love math, but that Hummer would be putting $900, $800 in my pocket. That's how I look at it.
Oh, yeah.
What is bringing me money? And it's not out of greed. It's so I can do more. I can sit here and hopefully encourage you to get off your ass and get out there and buy a rent house. So just do it for your child.
Oh, yeah.
Do it so you can tithe more, so you can do more. I mean, that's the deal. Like, I don't need anything else. I'm content with my life. Like, I could go big, but I don't. You got to find contentment. And I think people should. I think the word sacrifice hurts people. And I don't think you should sacrifice. I just think you should be smart about what you're doing. Where is this $2,000 a month that you're making? You're really not, you think you're making $50,000 a year. You're really not, because the government's taking 35%. Figure out, get a business and do pre-tax dollar investing or pre-tax dollar expenses. Because at the end of the year, does your company pay for your cell phone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
Yeah, they do.
But most people, right? They go to a job, they get taxed.
Oh yeah.
Single or they're getting murdered, and then they go out and go buy $100 iPhone a month. Okay, well that's after tax dollars.
Yeah.
Well, if you just classify yourself and get a small direct marketing business, and you could write off that $100 a month expense off of your taxes and give that back at the end of the year of that 35% that you're already paying the government. That's just, and I think it boils down to education.
Oh yeah.
And why, I don't know why everyone doesn't own their own business, just for the tax deductions. All right, man. Well, I think we've kind of beat it up to the freaking pulp. So the cool thing is, JR, I'm going to release this one today on Friday because I feel Fabulous Friday. We're going to change it up today.
Sweet.
So it is 11 o'clock on June 24th. You are coming back on the radio. When? What day? So when does that? Is it September? Is the first month of week?
So I will be back from LA.
I don't care. Don't tell me about that. No, you're going to go buy a crib.
Oh no. So I'll be back from LA on the 26th of August.
So when are you going to have the house under contract? Because you're going to be on the radio sometime September.
I'll be back 1st of September. Let's do it.
Okay, the first week in September, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and family, we're doing something wild and different. Like your ASS is coming up on this deal, and you're going to get murdered if you don't have a house under contract. So that gives you how many weeks?
Let's look at it.
Look, you got July, 8, 9, almost 10 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll give you 10 weeks from today. You've got to get a house under contract. Now, you may not close by then. And if you do, we're going to talk about the deal. If you don't, we're going to talk about whipping. This is what we're going to talk about. Or how about, and you bring me $100?
How about?
No, how about you bring me $100?
How about? No, let's not get political. I'm actually. I was going to say I could donate $100 to the Trump campaign.
No, I don't want to get into the politics because I'm not. How about you donate $100 to the Savvy Radio Show?
I will.
$100, and I'll get some new headphones.
All right.
There you go.
I'll do it.
And I'll put your name on there. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to go buy some headphones. If you don't do it, and it says JR Joker.
All right.
JR Joker. It'll be almost. I should go get a tattoo. You should go get a tattoo. If you don't get it, says and you put it somewhere where you see it every day. Go buy assets. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this was the most unique interview, and I'm so excited that JR was willing to be authentic and say, hey, I am where I am, and I know I'm not where I want to be, and I want to be where I want to go, and I want to take my family there. So I'm proud of you for taking that leap of faith and being called out on the radio. You got 10 weeks. If I was you, I would run out there and look for houses because you will be back on the radio. And if you won't, I'm just going to rant for like 30 minutes September 10th. And if you don't show up, because
I'll be here, okay. And I'll swallow my pride, man, if I don't do it.
And bring the $100 because I will collect it.
All right.
I'd like to collect rent. All right. Well, friends and family, if you like this episode, let JR know. Can they contact you, JR?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, is it their Gmail account up here?
Yeah, you can contact me, juniorwebster@gmail.com.
And that's JUNIOR spelled out Webster, WEBSTER @gmail. Encourage this guy. Friends and family, listener, savvy worldwide. Let this dude know. I've been beating this cat up for 5 years, to the point where I don't even take his phone call no more because I'm like, dude, don't call me unless it's the real deal. But he said he'll give out his phone number. So what's your phone number?
405-595-8398.
Text him. Now, I know my wholesaler is out there. He's got cash. He's ready to roll. He's ready to invest. He understands the game. So if you got a deal on the south side, text JR. What's that number again? 405?
405-595-8398.
He's ready to buy. So other than that, I appreciate your time. Whatever you do, folks out there, go buy assets.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.